This video is about these emergency door release cords for Teslas, and if you really need them for the rear doors on a Tesla Model 3 or Y. So this is my 2024 Tesla Model Y, and like a lot of modern vehicles, they have electric door releases. And this is mostly on cars with frameless windows, because when you open the door, the window's got to drop to clear the trim here. But a lot of people worry about what you do in an accident when you've lost power to the car, because this electric switch will no longer work and open your door. But on the Tesla Model Y, on the front doors anyway, you have this lever here, and that's your manual override. And that's a physical cable to the latch, so you can release your door when there's no power. But then when it comes to the back doors, it's a bit different. You've got the same button up there to release the doors normally, but you've got no emergency release here. And what Tesla have done, have put it inside the pockets, but it's a little bit awkward. You've got to remove the rubber base, and then you've got a little cover there. You release the cover by pushing the red latch, and then inside there you've got a cable. You pull the cable out, you've got a foam end to grip hold of, and then you can pull that cable, and that's your manual release. So obviously the worry is people aren't going to know this exists, and they're going to be going for the latch and the door's not going to open. And this is a bit much to expect children in the back of your car to remove that cover, find the door, get that, and then know what to do with that cable. So that's why this simple little product exists, and it's really just an extension cord on the end of that emergency release cable. So you attach that to the end of the steel cable in the pocket. This is made of Velcro, so it holds up inside the door pocket here. And then you've always got a physical release cable available in an emergency. So do you really need these? Well, I think the risk of not being able to open your doors in an emergency with this button is over-exaggerated a little bit, really. Obviously, if you've got kids in the back of the car, then I completely understand. My kids are grown up, so I very rarely carry them in my car. But I completely understand that you would be worried about children being able to access this emergency release down here. But in an accident, even if your airbags went off and the pyro fuse blew in the high voltage battery, you still don't lose power to these switches, because this is run by the low voltage system, by either that 12 volt battery up front or the 16 volt lithium battery on more modern cars. And these will still work even if your airbags have gone off and the high voltage battery has been disabled. And obviously your low voltage battery will eventually drain, but in the minutes after an accident, these are still going to work. And it's a very, very slim chance that anyone's actually going to need to access this emergency release cable in the bottom of the door here. But I do appreciate this is a rather awkward design, and most of your passengers just aren't even going to know this exists at the bottom of the door pocket, particularly as it's covered with that rubber. So buying these does add a bit of peace of mind. But you've also got to bear in mind, particularly if you've got children, it does give them the opportunity to pull that. And that's something you don't want to do, because that will release the door before the windows had a chance to drop down, and that can either damage the glass or damage this trim at the top of the door. This channel has had over 15 million views, yet only has 40,000 subscribers, whereas it should be 3 to 4 times that, because over 90% of the viewers are not subscribed. Please do, it's completely free, it's only a click for you, and it really does help. So let's show you what these are. Well, they're quite simply a fabric strip or tape that's made of Velcro. At one end you've got a metal loop, which is a bit like a key ring, and you attach that to the emergency door release cable at the bottom of the door. And at the other end you've got a loop here that you can put your finger through and pull it. These are usually brightly coloured, yellow in my case, and it says manual door release on there. And you can get these in various colours. Obviously mine's black with a yellow end, but you can get this in orange, green, red. I've seen various different colours, and you can get different colours of loop at the end. And because this is made of Velcro, it sticks to the carpet inside the door pocket there, so you then got that loop there you can access in an emergency. So these things seem to make complete sense, because people worry about the risk of not opening the doors, particularly if you've got children in the back. But I do wonder whether having these is going to cause more problems than they're worth, because children might just start pulling on them. But anyway, let's show you how you fit them. So the first thing you need to do is remove the rubber from the bottom of the door and just get hold of that ridge and pull it out. And then open the little flap there by pushing on the red tag, and that flap opens. It doesn't actually come out, it just hinges up. And then hook out the metal wire from the bottom, and inside there is a loop on the end of the wire, but they've now on the later cars stick this white foam on the end which gives you a handle. So what we've got to do is remove that white foam to access the metal loop, or possibly what you could do is put a hole through that with a bradawl and then get this metal loop through that. So that's what I'm going to try in my case. So it's difficult for me to film this and do it at the same time because there's just not enough room to get my hands in here and the camera as well. But I've got a bradawl there and I've pushed that through the foam, and that is through the metal loop. So I've just got to now get this metal loop through it as well. And this is one of those clips that just opens like that. It's spring loaded. So it's probably easier to remove that first. That's not getting in the way. But anyway, there's the metal loop through that, and that is secure on the cable. So that's the new cord back on. So we can put that back in the bottom of the door there. Put that down. This is obviously flat and thin, so that doesn't restrict it in any way. And then you can decide where you want to put this and attach it to the carpet. So probably something like that, but get that flush on the carpet. But anyway, you can decide where you want that, whether you want that up here or hidden down in there. And then put this back and you'll see there is that there which goes where the red catch is, if that helps you line that up. Because actually the rubber goes much further back in the pocket than you would think. Anyway, that's installed. And then let's just try that. So we get hold of that, and that is pulling it just fine. So it's pulled the rubber up, pulled the catch up, and that works. So all I've got to do now is repeat that and fit this one in the other door. If you'd like to find out more about the door handles and what to do in emergency, go into the user manual, which you can do in the car or online. Go to user manual and then scroll down to in case of emergency, and then opening doors without power, and you've got all the information there. So I'll put links to these in the video description below, as well as others in other various colours. I think they look best in black. They're obviously cheapest if you buy them in China from AliExpress or other similar sites, or you can buy them on Amazon. You pay a little bit more, but then you're going to get it next day most of the time. Anyway, hope you found that video useful. As always, if you have, please do click the thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video. If you like the video, please do click the thumbs up button, and leaving a comment also helps too. Plus, of course, subscribe if you're not. If the video saved you time or money, a little support via Ko-fi or the Super Thanks button would mean a lot. There's over 1,300 videos on the channel, so have a browse, use the search, and have a look at the playlists. And here's 2 videos you may want to check out.